gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. I'm ready for a good time, and I came to groove. The whole band's here, and we came to move. Got a fresh haircut and 2 new shoes. We're here all night like we got nothing to lose. I'm coming out the jacket cause we're turning up the heat. I wanna see you clapping when you get up out your seat. It's time to make it happen when we hit these streets. I'm coming in hot and I can't be beat. Watch out now.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chuck Levin's Live. It is another Wednesday here, and we're trying something new today. You can see we're just kind of roaming around today. Right now we're in the keyboard department. We got a cool one with the guitar department. Oh, you can't hear me because of my mask, but I'm going to wait till we have a couple more people leave so I can take my mask off safely. So I'll bear with me for a few minutes. But we got a cool one today. We got Pete and Paul from the guitar department. We got some really cool new stuff. They're just dealing with customers right now. It's right at the close of the day. Some people like to play a little longer than normal. We love it. That's why we're here. So we're going to wait for them to finish up. We're going to just walk around the store, talk about some stuff, see what's going on, just kind of see what's new. So for those of you that have been watching, this is episode 11, which is pretty wild to think that we've been doing this for 11 weeks straight. Through the shutdowns, back through phase 1, now into phase 2. We're still there, but guys, after 2 weeks of doing this, I can safely say that it feels like we're just back to normal when we're in the store. It feels like home. There's music playing. There's people making music. The only real difference is that we got masks on our faces and we're trying to keep as distant as we can. But aside from that, look, you just got a little more space to move around and make some music. Every department's open. Keyboards, drums, guitars, band and orchestra, woodwinds and brass winds, microphones, pro audio, pro DJ, accessories. Did I forget anything, Eric?
No, it's pretty good.
We got Eric, a social media content creator, right here with us.
What up, guys?
So you might hear from him a little bit. He might be hollering out some questions since I can't see what's going on the screen today. But we're here, and we're live, and we're just going to figure this out and see where it goes. Don't fall back there, Eric. That would be too live. So for those of you that haven't actually been into the store, you might have seen us or heard of us or have been here in a minute. This is our keyboard department. This is what we got. Eric, show them a little bit. Show them out a little bit. This is where we have kind of the synths, the arrangers, and we also have our organs in this room. We got our Nords, we got our Hammonds. We're about to set up sweet new Viscount down over here. The Hurricane and the Legend Live. Cool new stuff coming in. We'll probably have to do one of these with the keyboard department too, because when everyone shut down, what's been really cool is that a lot of companies, while they might have had to shut down some functions, they were still developing new products. They were still getting ready to launch them. And we come back, and there's awesome stuff coming out right now, guys. It's really cool. I think we're a little clear enough right now for me to take my mask off and be a little safe. So it's been really cool. It's been really awesome to be a part of this music community throughout this time. A lot of people come out with really cool stuff. Let's walk a little more this way to the department. Let's see what's going on. Oh, I know some things are hot, so I'll just say it on here. We've been having a couple hot things that just came back into stock after being out for a really long time. We just got back in our Dave Smith Pro 3, which is their multi-filter mono synth, which has been crazy since it came out at NAMM this year. We also got in a couple more of the SEs, the limited edition ones. So that's really cool. We also today got in a batch of the Akai MPC 1s, which was their new MPC unit, $699, every bit an MPC. Super awesome. Only got a handful of them in, so if you're interested, hit us up. We also, what's up, Paul?
Hey, how's it going?
We just got these in also. New brand for us. Austin Sound Machines makes the Hydra Synth. Really cool. You might have seen, we got a video coming out with our guy, Evan, who's going to riff on it and show you what's up with it. Darren, say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
You're live.
This is going to be awesome tonight.
Yep.
Got the man.
We're here. We're doing it.
Let's do it.
Darren, drum manager, for those of you who don't know. Let's take a peek and see if it's safe to go out here. I don't want to go out there if I'm not wearing my mask for people.
And we got a giveaway. Remember?
Oh man, we got a giveaway. We got a giveaway today. We're giving away another one of our Chuck Levin sweatshirts. So if you want to enter, tag a friend, tag someone that wants to see some of the coolest stuff that's come out in guitars over the last couple months. We have some crazy things that have come in, so we really can't wait to show you. Just waiting for a couple people to get their new guitars and get on out of here. Let's see. Yeah, see? Still active. Still going on. What else we got? What else is happening? I don't know. Eric, what am I forgetting right now?
Right now?
Let's see. In all of our shops are open. A lot of you have been asking about the shops. So we're fully functional. If you have stuff that's been, collecting dust over the last couple of months and you want to get it tuned up, guitar shop is open. Horn shop is open. String shop is open. In the horn shop, we are kind of going to the nth level of being safe as possible we can. Any instruments that come in, we're not going to be able to do same day service. These instruments are obviously, played with your mouth, and there's some health concerns with that. So we are going to be quarantining those instruments for 3 days before we even look at them. So please just build that into your kind of your time frame if you're thinking about maybe getting something done in a pinch. We're just trying to be as safe as possible.
We got a couple of people coming in too. We got somebody. Well, Howard Henning. I think he won.
Howard, our boy Howard, won the last one. Howard, you can't win 2 in a row.
He's coming in from California right now.
Yeah, everyone, let us know where you're coming in from. Tag your city or wherever you're watching from. It's awesome how from California all the way to the East Coast, around the world, wherever you are.
Got Tyler Jackson coming in from Seattle.
Our guy Tyler won a cymbal earlier. Hope it's working out for you, Tyler.
See you guys.
We got some of the big players right now.
Yeah.
Who else is coming in?
Let's see. We're still waiting. Let's go through the guitar house.
Let's go. Let's see what we can see without being too obtrusive with some of these people. We got our new guitar tech, Dan, right here. Dan, wave hello to the world. We're live right now.
Hi, world.
He says hello.
How are you doing?
You know what? Let's pop into the acoustic room right now so we can kind of give all these people a little break until it's go time.
Mark.
Say hi to Mark and Drew. Say hello to the world.
Yeah.
This is what it's like. This is what happens here. So some new additions to the guitar world that we're not going to talk about today that are pretty cool that are in here. You guys have probably seen these already, but we got in a batch of the Fender Supersonic Teles, which I think are really remarkable instruments. I mean, when the Tele came out last year, people thought it was they weren't sure what to think about it. I think it's a pretty, in the music industry, it's interesting that it's a bold move to kind of make something that is completely new and original. The music industry, we love to look backwards. We love our vintage Strats, our vintage Neumann microphones. Everyone's making a clone. Everyone's making just a remake of the original. Model D from Moog. Behringer made a Model D also. So the music industry is known for going and kind of looking back. But this was kind of cool that it was a new way of kind of taking the instrument in a different direction. And it plays and feels like a Strat.
And we got the Teles over there.
Yeah, we got the
Those are the
Teles
new
too.
ones. Yeah. Boom.
They feel, the neck feels great. It's light. It feels like you're playing a Strat or a Tele, but it's got an electric pickup on it, but it also has a piezo, so it sounds like it's an acoustic instrument. You can kind of blend the two. So really cool, where your traditional acoustic electric instrument is really an acoustic guitar that has a pickup so that it can sound electric. Even if you're going with something like these, some of these acoustics that actually put the humbucker in it, it's still an acoustic guitar, a larger body acoustic guitar. It sounds acoustic and it has a pickup in it. This is kind of taking it to the other end of the spectrum. So I think it's really interesting, and they knocked it out. It's an interesting thing that they can take a new take on something and crush it.
We got 2 questions.
All right.
So one, we have: do you have the EVH Frankenstein?
I think that we do have a Frankenstein. Depends on if you're talking about the real one or the the real deal. I think it was the $17,000 real one. I think we actually might have one in the building. I think they just came out with the Bumblebee ones too, which was the yellow and black one. But I think they also just came out with some less expensive versions of it. that we might have out in the electrical department that we can pull out. So we can check on that in a few minutes when we go back out there.
Another question, and I know the answer to this, but will paddles be shown?
Today, probably not. But that's probably got to be one of our streams coming up. We got to do what's new and latest in pedals because there's been a lot going on in that world too. We just got in. You know what? We'll peek out there in a second and see if we can go look at some stuff. So we'll see in a second. But I know we just got in those new limited edition JHS fuzz pedals, which are incredibly cool. We just got in some. What else is new in the world? So we got the Strymon Iridium, which is pretty new. Let's go take a peek out there and see what's going on.
Yeah. We also got Adam Gouillet saying, "Show me some basses." Adam, you want to stick around because
stick around. We got some basses coming out for you. So stay tuned. Let's just give him a little lap around the room real quick. I'm gonna pop my head out this window and see what's going on.
We got Godin. We got Martin. Of course, we got Fender. We got our Taylor wall over here. Come on, guys. You already know. If you're in the DMV, you have to stop by. Got it all. Look at this. Woo. Look at that. What's going on, man?
The dudes are ready. Let's do this thing.
Let's go.
All right. Guys, we brought out the big guns today, right? We got Paul and Pete from the guitar department ready to rock. And we got some cool stuff that we're going to line up for you guys.
Guitars, too.
And guitars. So, I think without any further ado,
where do we want to start?
Where do we want to start? Someone called out basses. I think we should let the basses get a little love early on.
Okay.
So, where do you want to start it with, Paul?
Well, let's start with basses. Let's do it in a chronological order. Back in 1961, Fender was enjoying the popularity of their newfangled precision bass, which had fretted notes that were accurate, hence the name Precision. And of course, Don Randall, the sales manager that used to tell Leo what he wanted him to do, because he could make more money that way, said we need to come up with more stuff in the line. So they went to the drawing board and came up with the famous jazz bass. This is a beautiful custom shop recreation, nice and heavy relic to look like it's been in battle for many years. God willing it was. And this is ocean turquoise with hubcaps befitting a 61 Chevy Impala, maybe even nicer. And this is about a zero cheaper than a real one of these would cost you. And it's you were a lucky guy back in the day if you went down to this place when it was downtown at 12th and H and walked in and say, "Hi there, Mr. Levin. I'd like to procure one of those Fender jazz basses that you have." And all of these years later, this is what it would look like with lots of paychecks and lots of memories in its way. So
it's crazy.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome. And that's a heavy relic, right?
This is a heavy relic. So this is not one that was sat in the closet and got played once in a while. This is, I'm a working musician. I'm union.
And why don't you tell them, a little bit about just like the custom shop stuff. Look, as not a guitar player, it took me a minute to appreciate what goes into a custom shop guitar, because they don't just take a new guitar and beat the crap out of it and make it old looking. They age it. Everything that goes into it.
This was a scientific process where, using computers, analyzing old guitars, and using simple science and physics, they said, okay, what happens to an electric guitar over time? Well, obviously the wood gets dry, it gets vibrated a lot, the magnets in the pickups get weaker, the lacquer on the windings in the pickups gets brittle. These have physical attributes that bear out in the way the thing plays and sounds. Even the rusting and the patina of age on the hardware, this all affects the instrument. And it's just like a broken in pair of jeans. When people pick up old guitars and talk about how great they are, to be honest, it's not like they made them any better back then. It wasn't that. It was just the fact that a broken in pair of jeans just fits you better because it's broken in. So a well broken in guitar fits you better because it's broken in. So that's what's up. And with these, everything is aged, except it's like you took it and had a $600 refret done. So the frets are fresh and lovely and silky smooth. The rest of it looks like it was rode hard and put away wet. And if you're lucky enough to afford a real one of these, and that's 5 figures, bless your heart. Otherwise, this is the way to go. It's like one of those Factory 5 kit Cobras. If you can own a real Shelby, bless your heart again. But if not, build yourself a Factory 5 in your garage for $20K and you'll be good to go.
Cool. We got any more basses?
Awesome. Yeah, we do. I think Pete.
Chronologically.
Chronologically, we'll go back to front.
Keep going, so we move on to the Spector next, which Paul again can give you the good history on the Stuart Spector bass.
Okay, back in the mid '70s, there was a cabal of bass repairmen, players, sellers that were out of, I believe, Brooklyn, New York. And when you hear these names, it's kind of like when you find out about Rockpile from England, which ended up being Dave Edmunds, Nick Lowe, Elvis Costello, and Ian Dury, basically 4 real hack songwriters. And so these guys were Ned Steinberger, from which the famous NS Spector bass gets its name. It was actually designed by Ned Steinberger, and Stuart Spector, whose name is on the headstock, and Ken Smith. We also have those, and Vinny Federa. No offense, we don't sell his basses. And financing is available, I hear, because darn, what a tag. Anyway, this is a reproduction of the original Spector SB1, which back in the day, the first net through bass was a Rickenbacker 4001, which is, of course, famous by Geddy Lee, Paul McCartney, Rick James, and others. Chris Squier, yes, thank you. And after that, B.C. Rich experimented with neck through instruments in the mid 70s, and then Spector made his prototype designed by Ned Steinberger, hence the name NS, which is pretty much on most of the basses that bear this shape. The original one was simple rock maple, 3-piece through the body, 1-piece walnut wings, which was heavy and resonant, made a man out of you. A new invention was the Badass Bridge, the Leo Kwan Badass Bridge, which was rock solid, so it did not move at all.
And those aren't available now, right?
No, these are not. This is, I believe,
They're licensed.
yeah, there's someone that's licensed to build it because it's a famous thing. And if you're going to restore an original NS2 Spector from the early 80s,
You need it.
you're going to need one of these.
Yeah.
So that's why it's done. I mean, if there's money in it, it'll happen.
I mean, that's like a super cool feature on this thing that they
Yeah,
brought that
exactly.
bridge back. Like that's
And-
only on the OG Spector bass.
Right. And the DiMarzio pickup, which you don't hear a lot about DiMarzio bass pickups, even though they've made great pickups. They were one of the original hot rod pickup makers from, good Lord, 50 years ago they started doing it. And it has modern electronics, though. The preamp and everything on board is the modern stuff because it's more reliable, sounds better. So that's the only nod to modernity, is the fact that it does have the modern guts in there, so it'll be more reliable and functional. Other than that, it's a pretty faithful reproduction of, him getting his feet wet, saying, you know what, I can make a bass. And of course, Ned Steinberger went on to design his famous graphite Steinberger bass that won, design awards and hang in the Smithsonian and all that. And Ken Smith went on to make his basses, and Vinny Federa split off. So that literally was a little nucleus of a heavy atom that split off and blew the place apart. And
It's the NS1, right?
this is the NS1, yeah.
Yeah. Is that a limited run? Is that a
Yes, this was done at the NAMM show, very limited run. We are the largest USA Spector dealer in the United States, so we are proud to represent. I still remember when your father, Robert Levin, brought the black NS2 from the NAMM show, showed it to me and said, "What do you think of this?" And I believe I said, "I can sell the crap out of this." And of course, that was a couple of basses ago. And that was a production prototype. I don't think it even had a serial number. It was black lacquer, which was the only way you could get it. Had an EMG P-bass pickup and a jazz bass pickup. So that was an exciting bass. Then of course Sting had to make a white one, and we had to stock white ones. And Kramer bought the company, and they were sunburst, and oh well, it got complicated. Thank God Spector's still around making great instruments.
We should keep the Spector train going because we got a couple more Spectors. Yeah.
We do.
So
All right.
I believe up next, chronologically, once Spector took off and word started to get out about these, they did another model. This is called the X series, made famous by, in my mind, most notably him, Nicky Six.
Right.
Right. He blew them up. And what this is a super fancy custom version of the X series. This was never a model that they put in regular production. They did custom orders of them, and you could spec one out, but it was never something that was just produced en masse. So there's not a whole lot of them out there, and they haven't done them really for many years. So we thought it would be cool if we did a special run of old school X series basses, but with some features like, as you can see, stunning wood quality. Here we have the typical 3-piece maple neck through design with redwood wings on the back. On the top, same, the neck goes all the way through, and we've quilted maple wings on the top, which, as you can see, can vary greatly in the figuring on the wood with custom colors. They did a couple colors. This was one of the original colors, I think, called ultraviolet. But when we ordered these, I think we ordered 6 or so of them. We had them basically invent a couple more custom colors that we pitched around ideas for names, and even went on social media and got some feedback from you, the people out there. So you got to decide some of the colors. And we have bird's eye maple neck, the matching purple inlays, which is pretty cool. Active VMG X pickups. And same thing with the NS, it does have the modern active preamp system in here. And they're kind of the new, this is the new sort of version of what originally was the badass bass, the badass bridge, like on the NS. So there it is.
Sheesh.
And of course, signed by all the guys up in Woodstock, New York.
Because nothing great ever comes out of Woodstock, right?
Yep. What's next? The CODA
Last
bass?
Spector bass, right?
Right.
You do that one.
Okay.
Tell me about that one.
Well, everybody likes Fender basses, including Stuart Spector. So they make this called a CODA, which, if you know musical terminology, refers to the repetition of an earlier theme. And so this is a repetition of Fender's 1961 theme, except done to the nines in terms of fancy woods. This is incredibly beautiful figured walnut over, I'm not sure what the back wood is, quite honestly, but I know that it's got a gorgeous piece of Clara walnut on the top and gorgeous bird's eye maple fingerboard over a 1-piece maple neck, which is really cool. These are very rare. They don't make a lot of these. It's, of course, signed. Aguilar pickups. You know, we're proud to represent Aguilar Electronics. We sell lots of their bass amps. They make some superb pickups and preamps for basses. This features them. And it should be yours. The only thing cooler than us having it is you having it.
Yeah, Spector's been on fire this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the X series stuff that we've gotten so far has been wild. You know, that's Abdul. He makes sure we're safe. Yeah, the X series stuff. I mean, we've had a couple of those things. I've never seen basses that look that ridiculous. So kudos to Spector. We have some really crazy stuff coming up with you guys later in the year. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Guys, what's next? Should we change gears? Get off of bass world? Keep it electric?
Want to go to some cool vintage style electrics?
Yeah, let's go into
yeah.
let's go into electric world, and then we'll crush through some acoustics.
And while they're
Gibson.
Here,
Was really
this one.
okay.
Oh, heck yes. Look at that.
Sheesh.
What do we have here? We have a 1958 reissue Les Paul Jr. double cutaway. They did these in a single cutaway version and a double cutaway version. The Junior, meaning that it's basically as bare bones as you can get. Single P90 pickup, 1 volume, 1 tone knob. Doesn't get any more rock and roll than that.
Leslie West fans only need apply.
That's right.
Listen to Mississippi Queen and get back to us.
This was their affordable version of a guitar that still bore the name of Les Paul. That wasn't the gold tops or the custom, what became Les Paul standards. Just the most basic stripped down version from the late 50s, which they did, I think, 58, 59, 60, right? Simple, neck set right in there. There's not a whole lot to it. I mean, it does not get any cooler than this. If you're just looking to plug in to an old Marshall amp and let it rock. Very cool. So this is a reissue out of Gibson's custom shop, which is a faithful recreation of exactly what you would have gotten at this store in 1958, 59, 60.
But for more money, no offense.
A little bit more money nowadays.
You know what's cool? I mean, I haven't been to the custom shop factory, but like what's made in like the Gibson Memphis factory, the way that they put those things together. I mean, you and I, Eric, saw kind of how they did it when we were at the Summer NAMM show last year. I mean, the tools they use to make these things and the processes they use to make this stuff is I mean, is pretty close to what they've been doing for decades and decades. I mean, it's the same guys, the same machines.
They're using the same machines to press the tops of the 335 guitar that they were using in 1958. The same machines and forms. So yeah, there's a lot of things about Gibson that are still very old school.
You know, you're buying history. You know, you're buying a piece that really does. I mean, connects you to all the guitars that I made before because it's made the same way. It's really, really, really cool. Yep. Kudos to them. We got another Gibson, I think, don't we? We got another wild one. This was Paul's curveball pick of the day. This was like, we gotta go with this one.
Okay. Les Paul didn't really like the redesign of the guitar that bore his name. If you notice, this says Les Paul Custom. Well, when Gibson got rid of the original Les Paul body that we all know and love and came up with this redesign, Les Paul didn't like it because the neck was further out of the body, the proportion didn't fit him as well, and he just really wasn't feeling it. And it would be not till 1968 that they reissued the Les Paul that we typically know, and this became the SG, you know, after about 1964. This was the top of the line custom version, 3 pickups with Maestro vibrola, which really works well. And this was the one that his wife, Mary Ford, would typically play. Back then, a husband and wife team playing electric guitars was not odd in Las Vegas. It was something. And we listened to How High the Moon. You can hear what Les Paul and Mary Ford can do with a decent tune.
What's that called?
This is called a Les Paul SG Custom. And, you know, vintage classic white. You don't even want to know what a real one of these in this condition would be worth because it's a big number. The other thing is, another place this guitar appeared famously is there was a little ditty and an album came out called Love It to Death by a little guy called Alice Cooper about 1970. And his guitar player was holding one of these on that album cover and rocked it pretty well, as I recall. You know, I'm 18 came from that album and pretty much launched his career. So just if you want to listen to any of that album and the albums that came right after it too, you know, his original band was quite good. Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway, those guys. That's what he was rocking right there.
Awesome. So where we go next? We got so the other end of the spectrum. We got some Fenders to show off, I think, first. Yeah.
Before we go there, though, let's remind them of the giveaway.
Hey, if you're watching right now, we got a giveaway. We're giving away one of our limited edition Chuck Levin sweatshirts. So if you want to enter to win, tag a friend in the comments. Tag them up. Any musician, guitar player or not, you're entered to win. We'll pick one at the end of the show. Only Howard Hanig, who's won before, can't win again. Anyone else is in. So I think let's keep it going. And if you got any questions for us, drop them in. We'll try and catch them near the end of this. So stack them up. Any questions about guitars, any of these models that we have here, other ones you want us to check out, maybe for a future stream, let us know. Drop them in. We'll catch you in a couple minutes. But right now, acoustics, Pete.
Well, I was going to say, let's keep it going with the electric.
You're right. I said that earlier.
Some of the weird stuff. Then we're going to wrap it up and bring it all home with some new stuff in the world of acoustic guitars. And unlike all of this stuff, which for the most part has some, you know, history to them, this is very much a sort of a time warp sort of thing. Fender, for the last few years, for many years, every year they do, let's face it, let's call it what it is, a weird series of guitars, limited run, where they will do things like take two classic models, like a Jazz Master and a Stratocaster, and it's like they put them in a mixer, in a blender, and put them together and see what comes out the other side. So you get these weird, almost hybrid models that will have, you know, the body style of a certain model, but the pickup configuration of another model. And this year they're calling it the Paranormal series, I think.
Yep.
So this is a right-handed, what appears to be a left-handed guitar flipped upside down with the backwards angled humbucker pickup one tone, one volume knob. What's that?
What's that called?
This is called the Supersonic.
Right.
No, the Supersonic was never something that they actually did. Was that?
No,
yeah.
no, that was an amplifier line, but
They
this
did
is
a Duosonic. So what this
Right.
is kind of like the Duosonic from hell, in a good way, which is very cool. And in I think they call this Ice Blue. They have different names for all these new colors.
if anything could bring Kurt Cobain back, that would be it.
Yep.
And these are Squier, so they're not. I mean, these aren't like terribly
They're not
expensive. They're very
expensive,
affordable
and
and they're wild.
Yeah.
They're
These are high quality guitars. These aren't like little starter guitars, like just getting your feet wet. These you could earn a living with a guitar like this. They do a good job.
and now are these normal models or is this a limited run? They only make them this year.
No, I believe they will build these throughout the year, and if they're successful enough, they'll keep
doing different series. Yeah.
If they get a huge response to this, they're not crazy. They're going to keep doing.
Well, I know on the other on the normal
Yeah.
Fender ones, they don't make too many of those.
No, that's because what happens is it cuts into the amount of build time they have for the typical backorder
Right,
Stratocaster.
right, 'cause these are
Hellies.
weird.
So those they have to limit it to a certain order window, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Although you can bet that if the accountant people went to and said, "We have 8,000 back orders for this thing," what's your answer? I think we know where that's going to go. Yeah.
They'll make more. We
So
got
that's
another
the cool
paranormal.
thing they did this year is so they brought that concept of the paranormal parallel universe thing to their entry level affordable Squier series. So what we have here next in this collection is, I think they call this is basically an offset Telecaster is what it is. It is the body of a Jazzmaster, your typical old school Jazzmaster body, but with we'll call the guts of a Telecaster. Classic Telecaster single coil neck pickup, bridge pickup, the old ashtray Telecaster bridge, and your three-way switch.
And a Tele neck too.
And a Telecaster neck, Telecaster headstock. So essentially, it is a Telecaster that looks like a Jazzmaster. In classic seafoam green, surf green, right? Surf green.
Surf
here.
green.
Very cool. Very cool.
Keep it going. Let's keep getting weird with it.
And by the way, with most Squier purchases, you get free online lessons from Fender. Good selling point there for all you young kids just getting started. Next up, I think this is Paul's favorite.
Oh,
We have a Baritone Telecaster with P90 pickups, which is, as you may know, is not typical Telecaster pickup configuration. Three-way switch, volume and tone like normal. But the weirdest thing about this is the skid length. This is actually not, a typical everyday guitar that's tuned E to E. This is a baritone, so I believe it's tuned from B to B. So it's kind of in between a guitar and a bass in its tuning in the notes. So much lower notes. Very cool to play. Anyone who's a fan of Wichita Lineman, you need something like this.
that's right. Played by Glenn Campbell on Carol Kay's Fender Baritone there. Yep. Listen to the ending fade out of It's All Over Now by the Rolling Stones. If you want to hear some incredible hard chords played on a baritone and cut right through, it's a beautiful thing to hear. So it's a voice that's unique, and there's nothing else that sounds like it, like a Rhodes piano.
So you wouldn't want to pick this up and try to think it was a regular guitar and tune it to E because you will pop your string.
And we will find you.
All right. Up next, Paul, you want to describe what you see here?
Well, what I see here looks like it sort of wants to be a Mustang and it wants to be a Jazzmaster Jaguar, except with a hard tail and two humbuckers. So this is if they left 4 guitars alone in a hotel room. This is 4 guitars for the price of one.
Is that the Toronado?
Yeah. Yes, this
Yeah.
is the Toronado.
Right, which is a registered trademark of General Motors. Anyway,
And basically what you have here with the 2 humbuckers, volume and tone knob for each pickup and a 3-way selector switch. Reminds me of something else.
Yeah.
But we won't say what.
Yeah.
You could probably figure it out. So there you go. In Lake Placid Blue, another classic Fender color. Very cool. Free online lessons.
so even when Fender gets it wrong, they get it right.
So-
And lastly, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say in the same vein of Fender,
Yes,
you have your next one.
which is why we put this up next
Yeah,
year.
love it. Love it. Let's go.
You want to rock this one? This is a big deal for all you PRS fans out there. I'm
Right.
sure you know what this is.
Right. A couple of years ago, John Mayer, we had a deal with Fender. They made the John Mayer Strat for a while because we know that as a blues player, he's been rocking a Strat for a long time. And Paul Smith, interestingly, is not a real Fender fan. Paul, kind of imprinted like a little duckling on Ted McCarty and Gibson a long time ago. Paul's original guitars he built as high school woodshop projects were pretty much this. Paul's first prototypes and stuff really resembled that. And that's kind of what he imprinted on. So Paul's never been a huge Fender fan in terms of his basic mindset. But not to be vulgar, but if there's enough money in it, people can change their mind. And when people ask me about the John Mayer guitar, I give them the simple, it's a really good 59 Strat take built by a guy that doesn't even really like Strats. So it brings Paul's infamous anal build quality to bear on a classic design. John Mayer may be kind of like Eric Johnson in that you're a little put off sometimes by his personality, but he designs a spectacular guitar. So this would be another example. Yeah, exactly. He can operate it. And this is the newest version in the maple fretboard, which has just started shipping. Originally, they were done with rosewood. It's got some new colors. This is a gorgeous light blue pearl. I'm not sure what name he's giving it, but
Polar blue.
Yeah, polar blue. That is a really, really nice, similar to Fender's pearl metallic. Anyway, but yeah, these are a really spectacular Strat. An interesting thing about the John Mayer guitar, Paul also is not a fan of the Fender 6-on-a-side headstock, whether it's aesthetic or for a physics issue, whatever. I like the compensated inertia that the 6-on-a-side does. But what Paul did as a compromise with John was by doing a left-handed headstock, you see that the E tuner on the high E string is further away from the nut, so it does give it slightly more tension, so it's a little closer to the higher tension treble strings on a Fender. So that was a really cool, kitschy little compromise that made Paul keep his trademark headstock design that he likes and still give it the tension that John Mayer or Strat players like to play. So yeah, this is the newest thing. We've got them now. We've got the regular rosewood ones. Sorry, the Nebulas are all sold out, but all you Nebula people know that anyway. And there it is.
Awesome. I think we should we should keep it with PRS now, right? We should keep going in the Paul Reed Smith train.
The next thing is, we got one more. The next hottest thing in PRS world this year, in acoustics actually, if you want to grab that, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have there? This is the much anticipated hot new item, their SE Parlor guitar. The SE, meaning this is their Indonesian made.
Student edition.
Yep, the student edition, their import affordable series. Paul Reed Smith guitar, which they do solid body electric guitar. And they've done other acoustic models in the SE series before, but this is the newest, latest, and greatest thing. It's what we call a parlor style body. Back, 100 plus years ago, before Martin did the Dreadnought and Gibson did the Jumbo, most commonly acoustic guitars were this size. They were much smaller, had a smaller body, skinnier waist, somewhat of an elongated kind of look to them. And, in the early 20th century, when people had parlors and everyone was social and hanging out, you would have a guitar not unlike this one laying around in the parlor. And back before TV and possibly even before radio, you actually had to entertain yourself. So you'd have a little guitar like this, and so that's why we call them parlor guitars. And they do a couple different versions. A model without electronics, just straight acoustic, which is what this is. And then they do an electrified version of this, so it has a pickup in the bridge, so you can plug it in directly. A couple different finishes. Obviously, this is a painted black. I believe this one is a spruce top with mahogany back and sides. They also do a mahogany top version of it as well. But this is very cool, for someone who wants the PRS name on a nice acoustic guitar at a reasonable price. So there you go. We've been getting
those
a lot.
just came in like a week ago.
Yeah,
that's super fresh.
Yeah.
Right off the truck.
They only announced them. They just announced them, I think, basically right before the apocalypse happened back in February, and then obviously things got delayed. And but we were getting phone calls. A lot of people were asking about them. When are they coming out? When are you going to have them here? Well, bam! they're here.
There it is.
So there you go. Very lightweight, easy to play, very comfortable with a nice small body.
Yeah, because when you sit with a guitar at home, and that's what most people do is sit with a guitar, you lean back on the couch, you typically cross your right leg over your left knee, it kind of lifts it up. So a dreadnought, it's like you're behind a picket fence unless you're 6'8". So these kind of guitars are like the perfect couch guitar to just sit back and chill and try to impress girls, or maybe your wife. Technically, she's a girl too.
All right. So that it is.
So now we got a bunch of acoustics to roll through, yeah?
We have one special one we want to get to first. This is also Paul's wild card in the acoustics.
I love Paul's wild cards.
Hey, look, it's my job to have good taste with Adam's money. Literally, that's my job.
So this is special. This is not a regular production thing. This is a custom tailor, whichever year they do, for the annual Winter NAMM show in LA in January. And we go there, Paul and some of the other guys from the team goes and see some of these very cool, very nice, rare special guitars. And we usually try to pick a few of them up every year. This is one from January's NAMM show. It is a 12-string Grand Symphony body. So Taylor has a couple different body shapes. This is a Grand Symphony made out of solid walnut, I believe, right?
Yeah,
this
gorgeous
one is walnut. Gorgeous walnut top. Walnut back and sides.
Purple heart binding.
Purple heart binding around the edge.
Show them the inlays. Yep. It's got the etched tuning machines.
So if you see the dove holding an olive branch,
Right in there.
and the level of detail.
And Paul Smith, you never saw this. Okay,
Yeah.
It's a weather balloon, Paul. Let's see that. It's a weather balloon. Yeah, it's all you saw, soldier.
This is not something that you're going to see out on the streets every day, and also has their patented arm bevel here, which they do on some of their high-end custom stuff. So it's very comfortable to play, very beautiful, and just sounds phenomenal. So that was sort of a gem. You wanted to pick out, a couple gems from the electric world and a couple gems from the acoustic world. This is certainly one of those.
Right. And remember, the only thing cooler than us having this is you having this.
So,
all right. Where are we going next, huh?
So next, let's go to a company that a lot of people are familiar with, that we actually carried for a few years, and recently picked them back up. It's a company called Breedlove. Guitars out of Oregon, I believe, right?
Yep.
And they've been around for a while and make very, very nice instruments, ranging everywhere from your intermediate level stuff up to, some very nice high-end acoustics. This is from the Signature Concert Series. So what we have here is a smaller body, what we call a concert style body, with a 12-fret design. And by the way, these guitars I'm about to show you, for the most part, they do 12-fret and 14-fret versions of them, meaning the neck either meets the body at the 12th fret or more commonly at the 14th fret. So this is a torrefied spruce top, meaning it was essentially baked in an oven, and it's a rapid aging process that simulates what happens to a guitar over a long period of time. As guitars get older and in a wood instrument, it dries out more and more. So by torrefying the top, it makes it respond more like a vintage instrument would. So torrefied spruce top, mahogany back and sides, as a lot of classical acoustic guitars are. Very nice, very affordable with Breedlove's string through pinless bridge. So if you notice, there's no end pin that holds the string through. It strings right through the bridge. This gives you a nice sustain right here at the most important part where the top is vibrating. In a very pretty color. I think they call this copper burst, I believe. With a cutaway. And it is acoustic electric, so you can plug it into your amplifier sound system.
That blunted cutaway is sort of a Breedlove trademark.
This is Breedlove's signature. You don't see that really on most other companies. So very nice. Then moving on down, another in that same vein. Now this is a 14th fret, so this, you notice the neck meets the body here at the 14th fret, which gives it a little longer length of the neck. This is an all wood construction, and myrtle wood, I believe, is really indigenous indigenous up to the northwest,
Yeah, if
right,
you-
of the
if-
United States.
I remember I took a road trip with my girlfriend at the time. This is back a ways. Apologies to my wife. And I remember at Coos Bay, Oregon, everything you went to was myrtlewood this, myrtlewood trinkets here, myrtlewood that. Here's some myrtlewood to eat. It's all about myrtlewood in that part of Oregon, and it's beautiful wood. It's a good tone wood, and as you can see, it's quite lovely.
Made popular definitely by Breedlove. Myrtlewood was not really traditionally what you saw a lot on acoustic guitars. So Breedlove sort of took that and ran with it since they had plenty of it laying around, surrounded by it. So it's a gorgeous, really nice figured wood on the top and the back and sides. And you can see even from the top to the back how the grain and the figuring can vary, a lot like koa, which I'll show you in a minute. Nice tortoiseshell binding around the edge. Ebony fretboard, again, Breedlove's pinless bridge system, acoustic electric. Beautiful. Very nice.
Awesome.
And-
That myrtle wood's like nothing else. Like it's so
really
different.
cool, and I don't know
Catches your
why
eye.
it's all in Oregon, but it's every tree is myrtlewood.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And so that's also like the cutaway, one of Breedlove's signature things. When you think of a myrtlewood acoustic, typically.
Well, it's Oregon. They got to rock it, you know.
They got to.
So lastly,
Well, before we go to the last one,
Is that our last? Is that
No.
our last one?
is that our last one or no?
Oh, we have more guitars.
We have a couple more guitars, but
Giveaway.
Oh, giveaway. One more time, guys. Last chance. We're giving away Chuck Levin's sweatshirt, limited edition. If you want one, tag a friend in the comments. We're gonna pick a winner in a few minutes. So tag them up.
so last in the Breedlove series, another
It's nice wood.
concert style. Now this is all koa construction, okay? So you have koa back and sides, koa top. Like myrtlewood is indigenous to the Northwest United States, koa is indigenous to the Hawaiian Islands, and can only be harvested once a koa tree is fallen. It's very rare. It's very exotic. So again, not the most popular choice of tone woods for an acoustic guitar. Probably more common than myrtlewood, but they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Produces a nice, very percussive, bright yet deep, warm tone to it. Has nice abalone purfling around the edge of the body, abalone purfling around the sound hole. This is a 14 fret version. They do the 12 fret version of this. The 14 frets, they call this a concert body. The smaller size with the 12 fret construction, they call it concertina. There's that there. Now I pulled this one, and just to show you how much koa can vary from literally from tree to tree. This is the exact same guitar, and you can see how different they look. They're both koa. This one has more of a uniform kind of pattern. This one obviously gets a little wild. Huh?
That's
You
awesome.
can see as you kind of angle them, it almost sort of has a 3D effect.
Those
But
are
these
literally
are
the same
exact-
model?
Exact same model.
Damn.
So you never know when you open up the case of a koa guitar, you never know what you're going to get, which is pretty cool, I think.
Cool.
So there you go.
That's how you know it's a real deal, you know? Like that's how you know it came from a tree, man.
That's right.
Like, that's
These are
it, like-
all trees.
That was a tree one time. That's really cool.
They're like snowflakes.
And
they're
No-
like
no two
snowflakes.
are the same.
Yeah.
Koa is a protected species, so you're not allowed to harvest it unless the tree has fallen
Mhm.
from a natural death.
Mm.
You're not allowed to cut down any koa. The
Interesting.
penalties are fierce. And as a matter of fact, there are trees that are probably genetically exactly the same called Tasmanian blackwood. Because I'm sure some person once upon a time, a native, got a little seed stuck in their sandal, sailed their outrigger across the Pacific, landed in Tasmania. The trees grew. When you look at them, you can't tell the difference. But legally, you're not allowed to call it koa because that is a sacred Polynesian wood,
Mm.
a sacred Hawaiian wood going all the way back to, when there were queens on that island.
Yeah.
And before we got there. So it's koa if it's from Hawaii. It's blackwood if it's anywhere else in the
Yeah.
Pacific.
Well, I got one more curveball. I'm gonna let the guys talk about this one, but this one's for Carlos. Because when this came in, he was like, man, this is one of the coolest things I've seen come in a minute. This is my friends at Ibanez.
Wow.
Just look at that
All you
thing.
Grateful Dead fans only need a ply.
Just look at that thing.
Tie-dye 6-string.
That is just nuts. Just tell them what the hell that thing is.
This is an Ibanez BTB bass. That is their big body, incredibly wide spacing. It's the opposite of their sound gear. The sound gear is the one people most know. That's the one that has the skinnier body, skinnier spacing, more like, shall I say it, a Spector bass in its basic appearance. The BTB is just a big manly thing, broad, incredibly wide string spacing if you got big hands or just have a lot more room to do funk on it. This one is a showpiece of beautiful figured maple. Looks like Wengie and Purple Heart, neck through, Wengie fingerboard. Very thin finish. You can see the grain where they don't bother to fill it, so it makes it very resonant. And the psychedelic tie-dye Grateful Dead paint job is just cool. So this is if you ever wanted something that was ready for video, here it is. Also features Aguilar electronics, which are spectacular. Very quiet, very punchy. It has the 6-piece individual bridge, so there's no crosstalk or harmonics. Ibanez likes to do that. They definitely like to get their engineering on with their bridge designs. They're always trying to push the envelope with this sort of thing, and this would be another example. So there it is.
Awesome. This has been great. This has been a great time.
This was fun.
This was awesome. Guys, we should do this again sometime.
Let's do it again.
We have a couple more guitars to talk about.
We have three
Yeah, they
more.
were pointing
Three
out
more
the
guitars
they were pointing out the Spectors in the back too.
Yeah, I mean, I saw someone just commented about the X series. If you're just tuning in, we covered a little bit of the X series. We got a couple more to show you at some point, not today, but rewind a little bit. You'll see one of the X series ones, and you can check our website for more because they're wild. They're wild. What were you saying about what we got over here?
Well, everyone should remember that for 60 years, we've tried to pride ourselves as being the god-awful greatest music store on earth. And we've worked very hard to try to keep it that way. And we know there's other people that got in the game late, and they're doing a decent job of it. But there's only one Chuck Levins. There will always be only one Chuck Levins. Remember, if you have a time machine, you can go back and buy a Les Paul Flametop Standard for $299, 12th and H. See you there.
All right, guys. So,
Look at Boss Man.
what?
Yeah.
Say, wave. You're live with
Oh,
everyone.
we're live. Hi, guys. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we're live.
There you go. All right, this has been wild. This has been an awesome time. I think it's time we pick a winner for our sweatshirt. So, without further ado, Eric, who we got? Who's the winner? It's coming. It's already coming.
John.
John D. John, email us at live@chucklevins.com or hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Either way is cool. We'll catch you. We'll get your size. We'll get you a sweatshirt. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll do this again next week. We got another great stream coming up. Stay tuned for that. We'll probably be announcing that tomorrow. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to do a lot more of these. This has been really cool and only possible because we are back in the store together, ready to roll. So if there's things that you want to see, if there's stuff that you'd like us to talk about, if there's demos you want to see, let us know. We'll do it. We'll get it done. live@chucklevins.com is our email dedicated to the stream. Otherwise, like us on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.